Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the weekly channeled message for March the 15th, 2022. Please remember, this is may not align to everyone, may not resonate with you. If it doesn't, then it's not for you. It is also to be taken as entertainment, and that it's never to replace any of your own free will. Always remember that. So this message is coming through with the sense and the feeling that I picked up the cards, I put the cards down, I put it all down, and then it was a reminder that I am a mystic, I'm an oracle, so let the message flow and to really trust the channeling that comes through. And so this has been a big breakthrough week for breaking free and letting go of a lot of the old stories, the old energy, everything that was kind of happening within ourselves that hold us hostage and hold us back from being able to live and be our authentic selves. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be free of it all. It doesn't mean it's all going to just fall into place. It just means that something has released, something has let go. So traveling through this is that there's a very strong presence of the angelic realm, the angelic world that is with us, working on our behalf. And there's so many things that are out of our control right now. So many things that are out of our control. So many things that you cannot change. And no matter how much you try, how much worry you put in, how much stressing you put in, you cannot change what is taking place right now, what is unfolding, what's going on, what's happening. And it is in a league of its own. And it needs that kind of, it's like we need to call in the masters. We need to call in the ascendant masters. We need to call in the highest of the highest to be able to help through this, because if humanity was listening, we wouldn't have had gone through what we've gone through in the past few years. So there is levels of humanity that really isn't listening. The other thing is they're saying, aren't you curious? Isn't it amazing how one thing just slowly slides away and just kind of disappears, when all of a sudden before it was like our whole world was going to crash because of it. And then all of a sudden, what? You didn't see that. And so it's the same thing with every story that we get fed and told. And then when they change the story, it's like, oh, I didn't say that. You didn't hear me say that, and just pretend like it didn't happen or that we didn't hear it. So there's a level of awakening that's happening just within our own human realm, whereas we're just playing. It's like, we're not playing the fear game anymore so much. It's like, we're very aware, but we have a lot to fear in real truth, in our own sense of things that are out of our control, but we have to live with the fact that a lot of our lives are in the hands of others, which also opened our eyes and made us aware that it really is time to really bring into our own hands that we are responsible for our own lives, and not to be so easily to hand over so much of ourselves to any organization, to anybody, to anything, that we're not so willing to even hand ourselves over, even in our relationships, that in our relationships we are learning the power of maintaining our own sense of identity, our own sense of self, and the freedom to be ourselves within relationships. And that could even be in family dynamic. So there's a lot of that's truly being brought into the awareness and into that sense of knowing our truth and living within our truth. Now we are seeing on the other end of this, that through this energy and through reading this energy and asking spirit, asking the angelic realm to help me be able to bring these messages through in the most beautiful of ways. So through this, it brings in the angelic realm that just brings that awareness into the essence that we have to wait. So where they were just going to lead me, something just changed. So I don't know what changed at 4:49 on March the 15th, 2022. But right in the middle of recording this, I just had a collide of energy or a shift. So I don't know if a planet shift, I don't know if there's some shifts. So any astrologer could probably help me with that. I don't know, but I just know energy. And I just got something just like come in and just change some of that story. Something is coming through. So I'm going to trust this journey, trust what is unfolding, trust what's happening in the moment. And that's the thing, is that, okay, so any given moment of our day, of our lives, that everything can change in the blink of an eye. And we are not so guaranteed anything, including our tomorrows, that if we stop and we look at our lives and we look in and we look at how we take things for granted, or we live in this sense of certainty, or we're willing to sacrifice even the things we love because we're unwilling to move beyond that shadow self, that we're unwilling to step away from that ego self enough to be able to say that this is not really, is this worth losing the people or the things that I love within my life? Or am I wasting precious time upon this earth? And time in human time and time in divine timing is very different. That whole essence of that your existence upon earth has an expiry date. Everybody's does, no matter what it is. And so the amount of time that we have here and the period of time that we do get that free will choice to live this to our absolute fullest. And we're being told that, the essence of the fact that we over periods of generations and generations in time, that we allowed our precious selves to be placed into the hands of somebody else's ego to decide, to place us at risk, to place that we don't get the opportunity to live a beautiful life when we want to live a beautiful life. And so there is that essence that just saying it is time to bring back in that, into bringing back into the power into your own hands, to recognize how precious each and every moment is, how precious this time is that we have up on this earth, and that there is still, beyond the whole veil, there is still a lot of beautiful things and a lot of beautiful life. And even during the most destructive and dismantling things, is that the media and the world around us want us to be in fear, so we don't see there is beauty, and we don't see the beauty of mankind, of humanity, that is helping and assisting each other and being there for each other and showing love and support, unless you go dig for it and seek for it. It's so easy to see without digging and searching for the unhealthy things, and to waste time really truly watching it when you can't change it. But on the other side of that, we don't spend the time digging. We rather waste time in fear and in worry than spending time seeking and searching out and being proud of our human race for still having the capability and still doing the right things for the right reasons, because it is still happening that there is goodness in the world, and you're seeing goodness come together, and you're seeing people come together, and you're seeing people support each other, and you're seeing people recognize that they are not enemies because countries tell them they're enemies. You're seeing that difference that was always there, and it was there through each and every other war. We didn't see it the same, but there was a lot more sense of that this is my, I'm signed up for this. This is what I have to do. This is how I have to be. And so they're willing to go against their own higher self and not trust their own higher self, and do the wrong things. Whereas now they're stopping kind of and looking and saying, it may be pushed into this situation, but on the other end of this is that I cannot go against the goodness within my heart. So you are seeing the rise of the super ego, is what I like to call it, or what they call it. It's like, it's, that super ego, that higher self, that conscious awareness, that when we consciously become aware of what it means to be a good human, is that we're finding ways to act that out. We're finding ways to be that. And that is so innate within us, that we have the sense of our virtuous self. And the angelic realm says, you use us as your strength, as your courage, and we are that for you. But you also have that within you. And so they are like the rise us and lift us to be able to see beyond, to use the superpower that we have within, so that we can shine a light. And anywhere that we can put a spark of hope, a return to faith, and a little bit of light in, that's what we're being asked to do. And we're being asked to do it everywhere that we possibly can, and still not neglect, because it's so important that we do not neglect what it's the wrongdoing and what is being done to divide and conquer and separate people. And if you want to talk about, being against the war. But if you were against your neighbor and you were against the people that live next to you, and you've made your family and your friends your enemy, then you've already been at some sort of war. There is destructive damage that is done emotionally within places that should have been at peace, that should never have happened, never should have been. And we witnessed it, and we became part of it, and you contributed to it. If you were in that divide, if you left the center line at all and you went out to those sides and you became that story, and you got into that fight, and you got into that war, and then you went at war within yourself, and you got caught up in that energy, is that you know full well how easy it is to let fear dictate and control your life. And by allowing that fear to control your life, allowing yourself to get caught up in that, allow yourself to know that the best friend in your life, who may have always had a different political view than you, was your best friend, did everything with you, you could trust with everything. And the moment you disagreed on some views, and the moment a whole, a party or media or an organization told you that these people were the narrative of what they wanted to tell to divide you, well, that's how war begins, and that's how things start. And then you fell into it, and you fell into the trap, and you made enemies. Well, you know how easy it is to be able to become a part of the destruction, a part of the negative, a part of the unpleasant, a part of the fear story, a part of it all. And when we become the contributing factors to those things, even in how we become keyboard warriors and get into those spews and those fights, and you say, I don't know how this happens. Well, this is how it happens. And this is what we have to be, the change in our own countries, in our own hearts. So what is happening out there? We have to be that in ourselves. Break free from the narratives that conquer and divide us, and to come together and find the spark of hope and do the right things for the right reason, even for yourself. Don't walk past the mirror and talk to yourself as if you are a less than. Don't talk to yourself as if you are the bully to you. Find and change the thoughts that you even feed to yourself, and then change the thoughts that you have towards the people that are in your world, and really truly rise up and gain a new perspective about how this happens and where this comes from. And it is really truly, this is the week that it is saying, wake up, open your eyes. Awakening is a very different story than the narrative that you even get fed. And I keep saying this, and I'm like, you're even going to see this in the spiritual world, because we have a lot of Jezebel-y energy. We have a lot that you're going to see that, this was an industry that give people an opportunity when jobs were going to make money to do this thing. And then you're going to see the truth of the dismantling of all places where imposter or not the truest of authentic light sits. And you're going to see that you're going to see light rise. You're going to see the angel rise. You're going to see the angelic realm rise. You are going to see the essence of that person who is the everyday person rise up in ways that we never thought was possible, because we've been pushed down, we've been drowned out, we've been suffocating underneath the feet of these stories and the narratives, because we choose the middle road, we choose to stay there. And so if you've been there, you've been like smothering underneath, listening to everyone else all around you. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now they're going to listen to me. So your neighbors are going to listen to you, your family's going to listen to you. But it just feels like it's not that they're listening because you have an opinion, it's because you're speaking love and light. And that is, we still are those people to each other. We still have value within our friendships. We still have value within our relationships. Do we lose that because we are in a state of fear, and we're operating from trauma response, or that we're operating from that sense of the broken instinctual self, that we can't even trust our own selves anymore, to trust our intuition, to trust our own hearts. And so we're returning to the hearts, we're returning to the essence of ourselves, and we're seeing true hearts rise. We're seeing the essence of coming back together, and we're moving beyond that whole narrative of, the capsule of, it's going to be this euphoria of everybody's going to think alike and everybody's going to have everything to be just equal. And balance cannot be equal. Balance cannot be everyone is exactly the same, because ultimately there will still be one person or one group that will be that more than. And if it's only the one group instead of a spread out group, we will be out of balance and we will sink. and we will fall. And so the balance and equality are not the same. And dignity to humanity, knowing that we are all to be balanced, that we're all to be treated with such dignity, is a beautiful thing. And that's the thing that we shoot for, that we interconnect, and we know how to help each other. We know how to support each other. The money that has gone out in the past few years alone in selling fear could have built hospitals, schools, industry. It could have fed the whole world, and there would be no starvation. There would be no need for war. There'd be no need for any sense of anyone to ever go without. Ever. Ever. So what does that say about the world that we live in and what we accept? And then we stay in that fear story. And then we stay in that old energy. So we're just being told to really, truly come into our hearts and really look at things from a sense of saying, did any of this, does so much of this ever make sense? So how many stories do you tell yourself? Because most 99.9% of people are still living in the self that they believe themselves to be their true self, and it never was. It is the programmed self. It is the conditioned self. Is what you became to become, that version of you. And when you break down all that and you let all that fall away, is this essence of self. But if you were to ever know your true self, it'd be hard to even look in your mirror, because there's such a beauty, such a glow. It is that of the essence of everything that you dream of, or everything that you believe to be capable, that you believe to be of an angelic, or you believe to be of a divine presence. Well, we have that within us. And the more that we come into this awareness of ourselves, the more of that we will start to see. And we can be that. And so if we stop letting this be able to use us as the puppets, it's amazing the difference that our lives will be. But you're going to see false lights go out, true lights come on. And when true lights come on, when the true lights come on, you will see the essence of the God within rise within all of us. You will see the truth of what love means beyond the dictionary. You'll see the caring and compassion, and you will see people. You will finally see that there has been a lot of this happening in the world, but it gets pushed so underground, so far away, because it doesn't feed the narrative that keeps the fear story going, that keeps us divided. So instead of wasting time coasting through what is easy, go dig deeper and find the beauty. That means coasting through just existing in our lives is kind of, even though it seems hard, it's the easiest thing that you can do. Diving deep to find the beauty, the essence, the truth of who we really are, that's hard work. And you've got to dig deeper than sitting scrolling on your phone to find that. So I invite you to really, truly take some time and really look in and look at how those perspectives, when you change the perspective, when you change the thought, when you actually start to, and I'm really not that person who's like into that whole fake it till you make it. I don't believe it. It's like, I don't think that's a real way to live. I don't think that's a truth, because then that is another way to numb and avoid becoming your best self. It's like, if you're going to sell to the world a false version of you, then we're just selling another false self. And that's, and so vulnerability, it takes courage and bravery to be vulnerable, to be authentic, and to let your true self out and say, hey, you know what? I've been in a real asshole mood, but I'm really trying to find my way back to my happy self. I'm really trying to find my way back. I'm trying to find myself that really truly needs to know what happiness feels like. But first I got to find that self, and being true and honest with that, and and not to laugh at yourself, but to be able to find laughter and joy. It really truly is the place where the golden nugget of us sits. Have a beautiful week, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. And I don't know where the shift came from, but I let it channel through. So it is what it is. Much love. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you again next week. And this coming weekend, this coming Sunday, I do start another of the Goddess Within soul revival workshops. No, sorry, no, fib. No, I start another mystical realm. Sorry. Another mystical realm course is starting this Sunday at 11 a.m. And this one is going to be about Jesus, the Marys, and the Holy Realm. And it's that version of the, like, allowing the energy to channel through of how that works in being, in being spiritual and a spiritual teacher, and being the essence of a woman who has walked with a spirit guide of a man named Jesus since I was a child, since I was 3 years old, since Jesus first appeared to me as a guide, as this imaginary friend in a way, but as the essence of walking this whole lifetime and having to hide and live in denial of some of that. And so there is the mystic and magic that happens, the mystical magical world that happens when you allow yourself to open up to the imagination that is so real. And that is where some of our psychic abilities really sit. It's where our psychic imagination is that in that sense of that imagination, is that there's such truth and such realness, because it kept me chasing and following and staying on a path that would take me into always seeking to trying to be a better human being. And that's how it really truly helped me along the way. So I'm starting that class this Sunday. It is like 90-minute classes for 3 weeks. And if you want to take that journey with me and come see, we never know what's coming. It is a mystical, magical journey that we take in those 90 minutes. I would love to see you join me in there and just have the courage to step into the unknown. If you like this video, please subscribe, please hit the notification button, and also please feel free to kind of share this around. And go to CorrieThorne.com and you can purchase my book and pull yourself a card, and also get into the More Than Existing Academy, to the many great programs with the many amazing facilitators, few amazing facilitators who are also in there. And we look forward to seeing you, and yay, thank you for being here. Mwah. Much love. Bye-bye.